I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I started another video just a second ago, and for some reason it crashed, so I switched browsers. Why not do that? Tennessee Volunteers absolutely comes in and drags Clemson 31-14. For some of you, it says 31-14 is really not a dragging; it's more of just a dominant win. But if you sat and you watched the ball game, you could see that there was dragging there, and a lot of it did not deal with the players. It deals with coaches who are being paid in 1 year more than you and I will be paid in a lifetime. So before you get all fired up and ready to defend people who probably wouldn't even speak to you in a restaurant, do understand that it's on them. So before I go any farther, I'm Brian Knight. I am not Bobby Durkins. Well, at least I'm not Bobby Durkins here. If you're brand new here, hit the subscribe button. Let me tell you a few reasons why. First, it's free. Second, it's free. And third, I know you're going to be shocked. It's free. Hit the notifications as well. It notifies you, let you know when I'm going to be going live. Also, hit the thumbs up, even if you hate my guts. So, Clemson comes in playing against a Tennessee team who is missing their two best players. Hendon Hooker was hurt in the South Carolina game, and then Jalen Hyatt came in and just absolutely had a great season. He opted out for the NFL. Don't blame him. It's a business decision. It's money. Before anybody throws stones at him, just ask yourself, would I like to go win the Orange Bowl, or would I like to stay healthy and go make millions of dollars? I know what I would say. So with that said, Clemson came out, couldn't hit field goals. Clemson's offense was doing very well throwing the ball down the field. Tennessee could not stop them. Tennessee could not stop them. The passes that were falling incomplete turned into pass interferences because for some reason Tennessee's players, yes, SEC players, did not know to turn around when they were contending for the football with a wide receiver, which for most officials, they're going to throw the flag if there's just the least bit of contact. They're going to say, oh, you contacted him, didn't turn their head around. But what did Clemson do? Clemson got away from it, decided they were going to run the football. It's funny to me that Clemson runs the football when they don't need to run the football, and they throw the football when they don't need to throw the football. I mean, last time I checked, the offensive coordinator makes $925,000 a year. So before you go defending him, you need to realize something. I think the median income for the state of South Carolina is somewhere around $50,000 to $55,000. He makes 925. For those of you who suck at math, that's about it would take you roughly 18 years right off the top of my head to earn as much as he does in this 1 year. So to coach a game, and you probably work a job where you could probably get hurt and someone else could get hurt. So before you get all mad and stuff and come to his defense, I'm not saying we need to bomb the guy. Obviously, he's smarter than all of us because he convinced someone to let him call plays at this level, and they did. So it is what it is. This is a really, really terrible game. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that some of the excuses that I know that Clemson fans are going to come up with, first of all, is that Dabo Swinney just, in fact, I've got the comment section over here, and just between y'all, I'm actually going to minimize it just so I can focus on what I'm going to say, because I'll totally pay attention to the whole time. Folks, it does not matter. First of all, it does not matter what you and I think. I'm a guy here in my my bonus room. Start a YouTube channel. Got my little flags here. It's cute and stuff. You come on here, you rant and rave, whether you're a Clemson fan or not. I want to be very, very clear to you. Dabo Swinney made it very clear to us around the South Carolina game that if we didn't like the lack of player development, if we didn't like setting a quarterback who should have been starting, he should have been starting. I know tonight he had a rough night. He should have been starting from that Syracuse game on. And he would have had more experience for tonight. You know it. I know it. Go ahead. You can be in denial and keep screaming, all in and talk about, all these other excuses I hear a lot of Clemson fans talk about. Clemson fans who I think the world of. They think the world of me. We're friends and stuff. And people who just downright hate me. But I want to make this very clear. Dabo Swinney thinks Clemson fan base is a bunch of loser rednecks. So before you go defending him, just ask yourself if you performed as poorly as he has. I'm not talking about 10 wins. The ACC is an easy conference. Go ahead and say the quiet part out loud. It's an easy conference. It really is. I've never defended the ACC. I've just said that we had the talent to go compete at a high level, and we did, and we won. All right? Those years of Watson and Trevor Lawrence are gone. And the Trevor Lawrence years, especially his freshman year, was the banner year. After that, it was pure mediocrity. Oh, we got to the college football playoff. There's some of you, I'm going to say this, and you're going to be offended. That's totally fine. You can go find another channel to tell you wonderful thing. Go find the channel that's run by the Clemson football team, and you'll feel good about yourself. I'm not that. Okay? But some of you are so focused on just being a good team player that you've become a loser. You really have. You've become a loser. And Swinney has the talent. He has a favorable schedule. He is paid $10 million a year. That does mean something. I'm a card-carrying capitalist. I am not a socialist. I'm not a communist. I think that stuff is terrible. It sets up for dictatorship. I have no problem with the man being paid $10 million a year as long as he produces. There's a 70-year-old man in Tuscaloosa right now who is ticked that he is not in the college football playoff. And the 2 games he lost, he barely lost. The 2 games we lost by 1 point up until this point, 1 point to South Carolina. That was poor coaching. South Carolina, you can be as happy as you want to, and you're right. You should be ifs and all this bunch of stuff. It's wonderful. I'm one of these guys. I look at strategy, I look at procedures, and I look at what makes sense. South Carolina beating Clemson does not make sense because Clemson did not put their best foot forward. Between coaching, between the players on the field, overall, should have never happened. Great, you won. Go celebrate. Have fun. And as long as Clemson continues down this mediocre trail, you'll probably win again. As to where if you had to play Nick Saban all the time, which you have, well, not really. But the times you've played Nick Saban, you've got your head stomped in. Why? Because Nick Saban he's a machine. He is a machine. He cares. He realized he's paid a lot of money to win. Today, if you're an electrician, you're paid your money, probably not a lot, but you're probably paid a decent amount of money. If you own the company, maybe so, but you're paid a solid amount of money to make sure that the lights flip on and no one electrocutes themselves. Can you imagine having the approach to your job that Swinney is having with us? Well, if y'all don't like it, I'll just leave. Imagine calling up your electrician. Hey, man, one of our assistants just tried to flip on the lights, and not only does it not work, she got electrocuted. We think she's dying. Well, if you don't like my work, I'll take my ball and go home. Click. Mechanic. I've used the mechanic example several times. Well, how many cars have you fixed? Well, sir, you're right, but you're the mechanic, and I brought the car in here. You said you've looked at it. The car still doesn't look right. Well, folks, you've lost it if you believe that's okay, especially at the money he's being paid. He could literally buy better coaches on the offensive side, especially. I can't say anything much about the defensive side of the ball. The defensive side of the ball really didn't cost us time, in my opinion. It was really the offensive side of the ball. Cade Klubnik should have been starting a long time ago. That would have given him time to develop and move forward. The play calling on the offensive side of the ball was suspect at best. But you know what? I'm just some guy in his bonus room. And you'll be able to, Monday, Tuesday morning, you'll be able to call in or listen to the local Clemson station, especially if you're in the upstate of South Carolina. You're in the upstate of South Carolina. There's the flagship station here in this area. I really don't know anyone over there. Um, I don't know about them individually, so I'm not doing a personal attacks. But if you want to wait until what Monday or Tuesday morning, you'll hear the call-in shows. They'll talk about this loss and man, it's disappointing. But they're going to protect Swinney. You know why? Because Swinney can have their media credentials revoked, or just have them put at the back of the room and they can't ask any questions. Dabo Swinney is not the same coach he was when he took over this job. Face it. Clemson fans, wake up. Get out of your stupor. Forget all of the slogans that he's come up with. Forget it. Wake up. Come on. We're not all in. I'm not part of a cult. Wake up. He is not the same coach that he was. He's not. He's Mr. 10 million a year, 2 national championships, and he dares any of us rednecks. Now, he's from Pelham, Alabama. Or Pelham or Pelion, or I think it's Pelham, Alabama. Okay? Never heard of it. Heard of Tuscaloosa, heard of Birmingham. It was one of the sweet stories of college football. I was like, man, this guy, he had a rough time growing up. Man, it was sad. He grew up with next to nothing. This is great. His mom was sleeping in his dorm room at Alabama. This is a sweet story to see a guy work so hard and persevere so much. And look, he is here. He's doing great. Hold on. Did he just tell us that we shouldn't care that we should care that we lost, but we shouldn't come down on him who's in charge of everything for it? What happened if Amazon started going downhill and Jeff Bezos goes, whoa, 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 don't you blame me? I'll have you know that I've given you some great Chinese deals. Folks, I am telling you, the Dabo Swinney that got the 2 national championships is gone. He is gone. I'm going to repeat that for some of you. The Dabo Swinney who won 2 national championships is gone. He is bye-bye. And you can look at me, and I know some of you out there, and I know some of you sports minds, especially local sports minds, you're going to go, well, I'm going to tell you what, am I going to listen to you, or am I going to listen to the guy who won 2 national championships? Fair point. The question is he still the same guy who won the national championships? Other than name and sideline and title, he is not. As I said, there is a 70-year-old man in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, who just signed the #1 recruiting class in the country despite having several players hit the transfer portal. He realizes, listen to me, Nick Saban realizes 100% that he is hired at the University of Alabama to win and win only, period. And if any of you have forgotten that, you forgot why teams play games. A team goes out and plays a game, and yes, it's in the back of your mind. Yes, it's difficult to win. Well, duh. Okay, I understand that. I had one of my viewers come on here and go, man, your videos are all the same. You've been talking about Swinney and how nothing's good enough. Was tonight good enough for you, sir? I'm assuming you're a man because your name. It might be a woman. I don't know. Was tonight good enough for you? Where you saw a quarterback who has not lost a football game since the 6th grade blow it tonight because he was not properly developed. He was not properly given time throughout the year. And when he was put out on the field, other than the Georgia Tech game, remember when he came out in the Georgia Tech game? He had the first team offense, went right down. His first collegiate drive, scored a touchdown. You remember that? I do. Don't play selective memory with me. Don't be screaming all in. Don't be doing all that much of crap. Don't talk to me about graduation rate and about good young men and all that much of stuff. There's a lot of Clemson players who has graduated and they've turned into hellions. DeAndre Hopkins, hellion. I mean, a guy who acts like he wants nothing to do with Clemson University when Clemson University was good to him. Clemson was good to him. And you let one racial issue pop up and all of a sudden he treats us like we're a bunch of Klansmen. I'm going to tell you right now, If Clemson was a bunch of Klansmen, I wouldn't have anything to do with them. But you let some little issue pop up to where he's got a mic in his face and he's going to start screaming that bunch of crap. There's a lot of players who has been good that's come through Clemson's doors, and there's still been a lot of bad players who, during and after the fact, has been bad people. We should run a good, clean program, but I am telling you, and I'm telling you again, Swinney is not the same person that he was. And a lot of y'all out there, he is playing because all he has to talk about is graduation rate, good young men, and I won the ACC championship. Now shut up and go away. I just want the old Dabo back. This Dabo is like Mark Richt. This Dabo is like a 2.0 version of Mark Richt. Josh Heupel took a quarterback who could not throw a ball with accuracy and won with him. Notice in the beginning, Milton did. He did a pretty good job, and then he started falling apart. Brother-in-law downstairs watched the game with me. He graduated Tennessee. He's more Tennessee than most of y'all out there. Sit there the entire night. Watch the whole thing. He started falling apart. Yeah, he had to touchdown at the end. And good for him. But he started falling apart. Did Clemson's offense go out there and fix it? No, let me tell you this. Clemson's offense needs to be overhauled. Clemson has the money. Clemson has the clout, at least at this point. If we continue at this rate, folks, here's another thing to warn you about. If we continue at this rate, we don't need to fire Swinney. We need Swinney to wake up and go, whoa, what have I done? I'm not the same guy that I was. I've allowed the success and the money to go to my head. What I need to do is go hire a really good offensive coordinator. Streeter, appreciate you, man, but this is not Richmond. Okay? And then I need to go through my defensive side of the ball and go, you know what? I don't care if you did play here. I don't care if you can recite all the Dabo Swinney talking points. You're not producing. Here's severance. Go. You don't even need severance. See, man, these position coaches are making $350,000, $400,000 a piece. Can you imagine? Can most of you imagine that? And what I'm always blown away with is people who come on my channel and you take up for these guys like you're taking up for yourself. They barely speak to you unless you hound them and it's like bothering them. So before you go taking up for somebody like that, just grow some dignity. You're not them. I know I'm not them. And that's why I'm sitting there going, man, you know what? They might be able to tell me all these different coverages and this, that, and the other. But you know what? It's like, I've said this a lot. It's like dealing with a mathematician who can go through several formulas, several different approaches to a really complex math problem, and they go through it and they write it out on this massive wall, and the answer's still wrong. And then they turn around and look at you and they go, well, if you think you can do better, you get up there and do it. It's like, dude, the interesting part about it is I would get the answer wrong, but you got the answer wrong. And now you're offended that someone would point it out to you. If you're a Tennessee fan and you're watching this, congratulations to you. You should be very, very happy. Josh Heupel took over a job that really nobody wanted. I mean, Tennessee was just in shambles. And then after that whole coaching debacle back in 2020, I mean, what a mess. Once again, proven people who has, masters and PhDs still don't know what they're doing when it comes time to hire people. Tennessee should be a locked job that they go in and they hire someone who is worthwhile. And ever since Philip Fulmer, they haven't. I would think that after Lane Kiffin did what he did, they would sit back and say, we need a solid individual who can coach football. That's the double. We can't divorce one from the other. We can't go hire a really good person who can't coach football. We need to go hire up, and we can't hire someone who is terrible as a person and shady and unethical, and we couldn't trust them with a dying goldfish, but they can coach football. We can't go do that. No, no, no. We have to have both. Tennessee could have found somebody, but they didn't, because the people who was hiring in their athletic department and possibly all the way up to the president didn't know what they were doing. I don't know if you've ever found out about this, but just because you're smart doesn't mean you're smart. And just because you're smart doesn't mean you're ethical. Nazis. Go look this up on your own. Go to Google, type in Nuremberg. That was the Nuremberg trials, where they were holding Nazis accountable. The high leadership that they could get their hands on. They found a lot of them. Some of them escaped. That's another video for another time. And they got them. And for them to be able to make them stand trial at the Nuremberg trials, they actually had to do an IQ test on them to make sure that they were mentally fit to actually be held accountable for what they did. They wanted to make sure they were just not like had lost their mind, and it was like, hey man, these were just psychotic people. They were nuts. No, what they found out really shook them. Remember, the average IQ is around 100. The lowest one out of like 35 or 40 of them was 118, and it went all the way up to almost Einstein level IQ. What is my point in this rambling for about 45 seconds about Nazis and smart people? Just because people are smart does not mean they do good things. Get that crap out of your head. You're an idiot if you believe that. Get that out of your head. Just because someone is intelligent does not mean that they know what they're doing, or does not mean that they're good. You can be diabolically brilliant. So Tennessee went through that crap where they probably had Dr. So-and-so making decisions, cared nothing about football, or thought they knew a lot about football and made terrible decisions. And then Josh Heupel comes along. I was scratching my head at the Josh Heupel hire, but the guy came in and did a great job. And let me tell you something, Tennessee. The only thing the critique that I have for y'all is that guy, Josh Heupel, needs to make a world-class hire at defensive coordinator and in the positions for DC. If he does that, I guarantee you guys win a national championship within the next 4 years. That's what you're missing. Tonight, you played a Clemson team whose offensive coaching staff could be coaching at the local 4A high school. On the offensive side of the ball, not all the position coaches, but most of them could be coaching. You would be shocked that probably a really good high school team, high school coaching staff out of Texas could probably have done better than them on the defensive side of the ball tonight. Or not defensive side, the offensive side of the ball. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I was talking about defense with Tennessee. Now I'm talking about offense with Clemson. On the offensive side of the ball for Clemson, you would have found you could probably go out to you could probably go down to IMG and find a better offensive scheme and development program at IMG than you will at Clemson right now on the offensive side of the ball. And folks, I am telling you as a Clemson fan, I do not want Dabo Swinney fired. I am not trashing him, but I am not praising him. He is not the same guy that he was. He's allowed the success in the 2 national championships to go to his head. He's allowed the $10 million per year to go to his head. And for me to criticize him does not mean that I want him to lose his job. I am criticizing him because I'm like, dude, bring the other guy back. You have turned on the fans. You developed us into expecting this. You developed us the year that you won 10 games. For the first time, Clemson won 10 games in years. You won the Orange Bowl. Or not the Orange Bowl. That year you got your head ripped off. But you won the ACC championship. And people were going crazy and go, whoa, he started going, whoa, this is not the goal. Listen to me, folks. Don't forget this. Not the all ins out of your head. And listen to me. Dabo Swinney said, this is not the goal, folks. This is just the stepping stones to the ultimate goal, and that is to be a championship contending team. There's some of you out there who, when people bring Jeff Scott back, I don't know if that's completely the answer. But when you bring up Jeff Scott, there's some people who snarkily will go, whoa, 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 you realize Jeff wasn't calling the plays. Listen to me. Joe Brady wasn't calling the plays down at LSU, but Ensminger was there before Joe Brady was there, while Joe Brady was there, and after Joe Brady was there, and he was supposedly calling the plays. What did Joe Brady do that made LSU so good? Folks, I don't care if he was sprinkling cocaine in the seat of their underwear. He made it happen. Something was different. And stop being so dumb that you think that that didn't matter. And the same with Jeff Scott. Something Jeff Scott was doing, some influence that he had was making them more successful and making them just better. So if you want to talk to me about he wasn't calling the plays, folks, I don't care what he was doing. When he was there, things were better. By the way, 153 people in here, only 21 thumbs up. It's free to hit thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. I'm spitting out good stuff here. I'm not like the suits and ties on TV who doesn't know the players on the field. I'm not like your local radio station who is just going to tell you anything to make you go have sweet 2016 dreams of Deshaun Watson throwing the football to Hunter Renfrow so you can feel good and go spend a bunch of money on season tickets next year when Dabo Swinney thinks you and me are the problem and his coaching hires are not. If you don't produce, you get fired. If I don't produce, I get fired. I love the company I work for. I really do. I really like the people that I work for. I have a really cool job. I work from home. Most of my clients, I work in the software business. Most of my clients are in Europe. I'm going to probably get to go over there this year. It's going to be a fun time. I have a good job. I'll leave it at that. I'm not bragging. God's been very good to me. Jesus, mainly. I want to say that because Jesus actually divides which God you're talking about. I'm not talking about some great eagle spirit that I make up. But I don't near make the money that Swinney makes. I don't make near the money that his position coaches make. And if I were to start dropping the ball like they're dropping the ball, I would be fired. And you would too. So before you go get to, man, this guy's harsh, all in. I can't believe he's saying this, all in. I believe. Are you part of a cult? I'm part of a fan base, folks. I'm part of a fan base. I'm not a cult member. I'm not going to drink the Flavor Aid. I'm not going to move down to some South American town only to have my cult leader tell me to kill myself. And for some of you, this is your cult. I love my team. I'm a Clemson fan through and through, but some of you get really silly with it. I'm going to go to the comments if I can. There's a lot of comments in here. A lot of people losing it. A lot of people losing it. A lot of people are going crazy. A lot of people are having some fun in here. There's too many in here. This is crazy. By the way, 146 people in here, 45 thumbs up. Just throwing that out there. Highlight one from Chase Henderson that I see. I've accepted the L, my guy. He's talking to someone. I don't even know who he's talking to. I'm looking forward to next year, but saying Cade play like trash is what I want to accept, trolling or not. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, Cade did not play like trash. Cade played like a freshman quarterback who had been strung along the entire season by men who are well old enough to be his father, who told his father and his mother that they were going to make the very best decision for him. And when they could have worked him throughout the season, listen to me, they could have worked him in and out of the scheme throughout the season. They didn't. And then they threw him in the North Carolina game. And he came out and he played lights out. And Tennessee focused on that. And then Clemson's OC, Clemson's offensive structure. I don't know who it is on the Clemson side, but I feel pretty confident from the OC down, except for a couple of positions coaches. They were not ready for this game. They all looked at each other across the table and they went, we're major D1 coaches. We know so much. So let's go play ridiculous. Let's go call ridiculous calls. It doesn't matter. We're smart. Folks, this is crazy. Cade is not the problem. Do you realize, folks, once again, for all of you out there who's trashing him, if you're a South Carolina fan, great. You should trash him because you're a Gamecock. That's fine. If you're a Georgia fan, you can trash him. That's great. You were trashing Stetson Bennett just a year ago. One of your most famous Georgia fans said it. He would rather have a garbage can as the quarterback than Stetson Bennett be the quarterback for the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm not making that up. That happened. So before you start praising Stetson, a lot of you would have rather had a drug addict playing quarterback for you, fresh off the streets of Atlanta. Because you can find a ton of them there. The whole city's went down to crap. George, you hit the like button. Thank you so much. SEC dogs in here, rub the rock forward. This is Dabo Streeter O-line and receivers problem. Dabo has got to start utilizing the portal, recruit dominant linemen, stop the nepotism. He's got to start with the coaching first. Rub the rock. I agree with a lot of things what you said there, but one of the number one things right here, one of the number one things that you said right there, one of the major things right there that you said was the beginning part. It's the reason that Chris Peterson did so well at Boise State. He was taking 2 and 3 star players, and he was developing them, and he built a game plan around them. That's the reason they were so flipping good. Real McCoy says Streeter got to go. Only if they're going to hire somebody fantastic. Don't fire him. Hire another one. Clemson Carson, I agree with you. Something's happened to Makuba. I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know what. I don't know what's going on. I even see the Henderson sisters getting in here on some really fired up crap. Yeah, Big Red, you're right. I said that. I don't know if you were just repeating what I said, but Dabo is Mark Richt 2.0 at this point. He is not. Listen to me, folks. Listen to me. Clean the wax out of your ears. Dabo, who won the 2 national championships and made us all fired up. We wanted to go play for him. He made us feel inspired. We wanted to go do a lot of things like him. That Dabo, yes, that Dabo is not the same guy today, folks. Well, success goes to your head, and you got all the money, and got all the expectations, and all the pressure in the world. And how about he do? Why doesn't he do this? How about he gives up the money and says, you know what? I just think I need to stop. The money is just too much. I really don't feel like coaching too much. I've climbed the mountain. Instead, he's looking at you and I, and he's telling us that we're the problem. The people that he tempered to believe that excellence is the goal. Perfection, no, but excellence. Folks, did you see excellence tonight? No. If you would have taken the title of Orange Bowl off of that, you would have just saw another dominant win by Tennessee over a subpar football team. And I hate to say that about our players, because between you and I don't blame the players. I have all the faith in the world of our players. I don't have a lot of faith in our coaching staff. And just to drop a couple of nuggets on you, I believe had Tennessee ran the ball on us more, they would have beat the crap out of us. SEC dog, and I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to see if I can pin this. I just pinned your message there. I give Bobby a hard time, but he called this out several years ago. I want you to remember that. I want everyone to remember that I called out. I want you to remember this. I'm sorry to say it's getting crazy. B being, yeah, the SEC is way better than the ACC, although the SEC does not look good this year. You got Georgia, kind of Tennessee, and then Alabama. Alabama didn't do that well. Alabama, I would say Alabama and Tennessee is about the same right now. I know Tennessee, you beat Alabama, good for you, and then you got blown out by South Carolina. I don't care for what reason. You should have not lost to that team that bad. But you have Georgia, Bama, Tennessee, and then the rest of it. I mean, what happened to Ole Miss? My God, what a mess. How about you come play? It doesn't change whether Clemson comes in and plays as they are, and they fall to the very bottom beside Vanderbilt. That does not change the status of the other teams. Chase Henderson, he did not pay me to pin his comment, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to pin your comment. No, well, it's out of let me tell you this. I put SEC dog up there because that I called it. I called it in Trevor's sophomore season. I called it, folks. If anyone wants to come on here, by the way, 186 people in here, 58 thumbs up. If you hate my guts, I don't care. Hit the thumbs up. What I'm spitting right now is truth bombs. You're not going to get this from your local radio station. Your local radio station is going to say just enough, and then next week they're going to act like this game never happened. Well, we got next season, got a good recruiting class, and spring game comes around. Maybe they look pretty decent. All of a sudden, we're front running. I believe in Coach Swinney, and I believe he's good for the boys, and I believe in this, and I believe in that. The same guy who just got finished telling us that if we did not like losing, he was going to go leave it. Let me tell you right now. The Swinney that is right now, the Swinney that is right now, okay, you bought me. Okay, you didn't buy me. I'll replace the pin and put Chase up there right now. Maybe he'll pin your comment. My God, it's ridiculous. SEC dog. Thank you. Just understand. Flattery got to me. By the way, I want to tell you, even if you think that I'm just full of it, thank you so much for all the comments. There's a lot of people in. There's almost 200 people in here right now, and for a small YouTuber like myself, that's a big deal. By the way, if you're not subscribed to me, I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers. It means I can monetize my videos, and it helps me make a little money off of it. I'm just going to be blunt to you. If you've not subscribed, you can put me over 1,000 subscribers tonight, and that would help me be able to just monetize my videos. I mean, you wouldn't even have to give a dime in monetize videos. Also, if you do want to support the channel, there will be a link below to where you could actually go and support the channel, but I'll leave it at that. Folks, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to say this over. Dabo Swinney is not the problem. The original Dabo Swinney. The new Dabo Swinney, I don't know if he's going through a midlife crisis. You did get me. I don't know. When I read that, I just shook my head. You know who you are. But folks, I want to be very, very clear to you that, and B Bean, I'm going to answer that question. That's what I was getting to. Do I want Dabo Swinney to remain the head coach? Yeah, I do. And I want him to get back to what made him win. Period. The guy was a winner. He's not a winner anymore, folks. He is a defender of his players, period. Dabo is not. What I really want is Dabo Swinney back. This Dabo, this new mentality, this Hen syndrome that I like to call it, Mama Hen syndrome. Let me explain that to you. I have been even friends with people growing up that they could do the stupidest, dumbest things in the world, and their mom would take up for them. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, that just sounds like a parent's love. No, that's not. I have two boys. I love them to death. If I truly love them, I correct them when they do stupid stuff. Tell them I'm doing this because I love you and I don't want you to go out and be an embarrassment. I don't want you to have to go and live a life that is less than. I don't want you to go out and have to go through a bunch of crap that you don't have to go through if you'll just wise up. It's because I love you. Mama Hen syndrome says, I don't care if my boys does this. It's my boy and I love him. Shouldn't do that, but I'm going to take up for you no matter what you do. That's what Swinney's doing. But the interesting thing, listen to me. The interesting thing about this, is that Swinney's doing it for his coaches, not his players. He takes up for his players, but folks, he is taking up for his coaches, especially on the offensive side. He makes it about the players. It's a good wordplay if you listen to it. Is any of us criticizing the players? No. Let me tell you this, and I've said this about DJ. I believe DJ is going to be successful at Oregon State. I could be wrong. Won't be the first time you could call family members. They'll tell you, yeah, he could be wrong. By the way, I appreciate everyone who's came in and said some really good stuff. I appreciate the support here. I really, really do. Just make sure you're subscribed. That really helps my channel. We're nearing 1 a.m. This is crazy. But folks, I want to be very, very clear to any and every one of you who is listening, who even gives a rat's rear end. And I'm checking it right now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. You put me over 1,000 subscribers tonight. Thank you. Thank you very much. When I went on here, we were sitting at about 985. And because of you, 1,002. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and just keep those numbers going up. But thank you so much. That's so very kind of you. My oldest son, Bobby Durkins Jr., told me that I needed to start a channel where I just talked about football just as me. And I wish I'd listened to him sooner because that'd have been about 3 years ago. It's kind of like how I feel about Dabo Swinney. I feel like he needs to listen to the people who are pulling for him. We're pulling for him. Dabo Swinney needs to listen to the people who is pulling for him. Parker Anderson said, "You're welcome, ma'am." You're so stupid. I swear. Oh my God, you're hilarious. Folks, I just want you to hear this. And once again, going back to Tennessee, if Tennessee, if there's any of you who are in here right now, I just want to say this to you Tennessee fans. Congratulations. Your team climbed a mountain that, quite honestly, I don't know if most Tennessee fans didn't see you climbing. And that's a big deal. You should celebrate that tonight. I know that in your mind, you're like, how do we lose to South Carolina? How do we lose to Alabama? And I'm not saying that to, like try to bring up something and give backhanded compliments. No, I'm just serious. I know that can be really, really irritating. But I do want to make a very, very bold comment to you. Clemson coming in and losing like they did tonight and carrying themselves the way that they did tonight. especially with, I say carrying themselves, but with the poor coaching. Maybe you are. I felt like Josh Heupel, and I almost made a video before this. I was going to say that Josh Heupel was going to be the big deal here. Oh God, Parker's drunk. I would not doubt it. Oh God, this is crazy. There's some really crazy stuff in here. I'm going to get back to this. I'm sorry. I can't look at the comment section. I'm going to actually minimize it again so I can't see it. But Tennessee, y'all are ascending. And I almost made a video where I said that Josh Heupel was the reason for anybody to believe that Tennessee would win this game because he is a schemer. He is someone who is focused on producing. He won a national championship as a player. This guy has a lot of the intangibles. He has a hunger. He did what he did. I want you to think about this. Joe Milton versus Hendon Hooker. Joe Milton was more highly rated than Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker's coming out of a subpar Virginia Tech team that's living off of the Frank Beamer days. And quite honestly, if you go back to the Frank Beamer days, I know he had a couple of really good seasons. But other than that, yeah, they had Beamer ball and this, that, and the other. But they were not. They didn't amount to the success that Clemson has had. Clemson's been very successful, and that's one of the things I want to get across to every Clemson fan who is hearing this. Clemson has been successful because Swinney was such a competitor. He wanted the best players. He wanted the best coaches, the best development, and something changed. And I don't know what changed. Now he looks at you and I, and he goes, "Y'all are the bad guys." It's like, whoa, how did that happen? How did I become the bad guy? Because you're not saying all in. Well, I said I was all in. But I'm just saying, why didn't you hire? Weren't you developing players better? And why are we calling some of the play? Okay, a lot of the plays that we're calling, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Well, then I'll take my ball and go home. Let me tell you this. Dabo Swinney was hired by Alabama tomorrow. First of all, I don't think Alabama would hire this Dabo Swinney. They would hire the one that we're all sitting here scratching our head going, where did he go? But if he went to Alabama or he went anywhere else, he said, maybe I need to go coach somewhere else. They're going to expect you to win, dude. Just like on my job, they expect me to perform. Just like my father-in-law, he's actually they're still downstairs right now. They're just hanging out. We had to do a belated Christmas thing. Somebody got sick. Long story. We watched the games together. But he's an electrician, and that's where I was talking about the whole electrician thing. If he goes in, he owns his own electrical firm. If they go in, they poorly wire stuff starts burning down, stuff just right down the lights won't come on. They're going to fire him. But when you bring up a football coach, you go, "Oh man, well you got to understand, man. You can't do this, you can't do that." And it's like, well, hold on. So did he hire the best offensive coaches? Well, no. Excuse me. Go to a 5-star restaurant, world-class chef. Then you find out he's cooking with beanie weenies. But you're still paying top dollar. And when you take your first bite, you're supposed to go, good. Folks, grow a brain. There's some of you out there, you've grown a brain, and I'm not saying it to you, but there's some of you out there, grow a brain. This guy does not give two flying craps about you, and you're taking up for him like I just told you that your kid is ugly. This guy is making a lot of money, and he has turned on the fan base because we're looking at him going, where are you at? This is not the same guy that you were. Please, we want that guy back. See, we want you back. We just don't want this version of you. This version who looks at the fan base, holds up their middle finger, and goes, something's wrong with y'all. And it's like, no, don't think so. Uh-uh. Oh, yeah. Oh, let me guess. I won championships and told you that was the standard. And now y'all are turning on me going, hey, how dare you turn on me and expect championships? I mean, is that schizophrenia if I've ever heard it? If something is going on with him personally, grace all day long. Just don't blame me for it. Don't blame me. Don't blame the fan base. My God, this is ridiculous. Closing thoughts here. There's a lot of people, and I'm tempted to keep going and keep going, but I just don't want to keep going just to keep going. As Clemson sits at home and they watch a college football playoff that they very well could have been in, they lost the last ball game. And that ensured that they shouldn't have been in it. And folks, I'm going to tell you right now, losing this ball game for us tonight could be what Clemson needs to spur the proper changes. Swinney's been able to look at the fan base and go, I got you 10 wins. Go away, you bunch of rednecks. I got you an ACC championship. Bunch of idiots. What are y'all doing complaining? Smile. Smile. Be happy. Say, but hold on. It's not the production. It's, imagine if you had a basketball team and you had Michael Jordan on it. And you started losing games. And you're like, well, hold on. Why are we losing games? Why is Michael Jordan sitting on the bench? Hey, I thought you were a real fan. A real fan pulls for the team no matter what. Say, yeah, that's... Mm, mm, that doesn't make sense. What I'm saying is, why is Michael Jordan sitting on the bench? Once again, don't you believe in the team? At this point, I'm starting to get pissed with the team. Why is Michael Jordan sitting on the bench? Why was Cade Klubnik sitting on the bench the majority of this season? Why has Dabo Swinney hired coaches that has no business of running anything at Clemson right now? Why? Why is it that a 70-year-old man who has won a lot of games in Tuscaloosa and even won a national championship at LSU, please correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Nick Saban has 7 national championships. Am I correct? Why is it? Why didn't he get a couple in and go, well, we won. I mean, what you want me to do, man? Winning's hard. But then you'll find that out. I mean, keep paying me and stuff. Keep showing up and tell me how great I am, but it's hard. No, Nick Saban probably terrorizes his own soul. He's not in a national championship this year. Kirby Smart is locked in. At this point, he is locked in on winning another national championship, and most likely he's about to. Georgia, you've stopped wasting talent. You hired the man who stopped wasting talent. Clemson, South Carolina, that's not the case anymore. And folks, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, maybe tonight was the corner we needed turned. Maybe tonight was the loss, the 17-point loss to a team we were a 4-point favorite over. Listen to me, we lost by 17 points. And I say we, I know some people's like, well, did you play tonight? I've been pulling for this team for years. I've paid dollars I didn't even have to go see them play and take my kids to go see them play. I've watched games, made time to sit and watch them. You're dang straight. I was pulling for Clemson before Dabo Swinney got there, and I'll be pulling for Clemson after he leaves. So, yeah, we. Let me pose it to you like this. What is a football game if nobody shows up? It's a backyard pickup game. Fans matter. Their dedication matters. You let every media outlet tomorrow shut down. You let fans go, you know what, man? You know what? I have other things to do. I'm just not going to sit and watch football. Yeah, I know it's tradition and stuff. Man, I'm just done. These coaches, you would see their salaries decrease. NIL deals wouldn't even be on the line. You would see scholarships that are taken for granted by players left and right be revoked. They'd be like, man, we don't have the money to be able to fund y'all. Why? Because nobody's coming to see y'all. They don't care anymore. You, as a fan, remember that you still have that power. Some of us just, I don't know, man. Chase Anderson, I just pulled up my comments here. It says, remember, brother, just because this year didn't end up the way we wanted, maybe a negative day be a positive tomorrow. Learn more from losses from you do. I agree with you 100%. I'm just going to tell you, Jason, you know, me and you, we talk all the time, me, you, and Parker especially. We talk all the time. We're very forward with each other. We're all competitors. We're friends. We say a lot of things. I agree with you 100%, but I'm going to say this, and this is my rebuttal to you because we're really honest with each other. Getting blown out by LSU didn't change anything. Getting blown out the very next year by Ohio State didn't change anything. Getting blown out by Notre Dame this year has not changed anything. And tonight we got our tail handed to us by a team who has not they didn't field their two best players. And I agree with that theory, but there does come a time to where you look at the person who is dealing with the loss, and if they don't properly deal with it, it's on them and not you and I. Once again, I don't blame the players for this. I blame the guys who are being paid $10,925,000, 400,000 here, 300,000 there. They're throwing big numbers around like it doesn't even matter, and then they're treating it like they're being paid $10 an hour to mop up piss out from around a urine, some type of urinal at a local Spinks or a local gas station. They're not. And I'm not saying that sharply towards you. I'm saying that towards them. It's ridiculous. Rub the Rock says, what separates Saban from Dabo? The ability to be ruthless no matter the situation. Yeah. Yeah. We should all understand that. Listen to me. You can be a ruthless competitor and still guide young men to be very, very good men. You can still be ruthless on the field and in your preparation and still guide. Let me tell you this, Brent Venables, I don't know him personally, but I can tell you by watching him on the side by the sidelines, he was a ruthless competitor. I can't say he always said the right things. He sure did produce. And that's what's being thrown at us now as Clemson fans. Well, do you want really good young men? Yeah, of course we do. We don't want them to be rapists and murderers. Don't hang that over our head. They're football players. Just like in any role, in anybody, you don't have to select between being a good person and a serial killer, don't you? But I know that school teacher over there they're really not doing a good job. But I mean, they're a good person. Would you rather them be a serial killer? No. What type of whacked out logic are we using now? My Lord, no wonder the world's going to hell. This is sick. Grow a flipping brain. I'm going to say it one more time. First of all, I want to congratulate Tennessee again. Tennessee, you did a great job. You did a great job. You were down two of your best players. I know Tillman didn't. I know a lot of you showed up out of the woodwork to tell me, "Oh, Tillman didn't play." I know Tillman didn't play. Had Tillman played tonight? Had Hyatt played tonight? Had Hooker played tonight? What would that ball game look like? You won by 17. Would you have won by a lot more? The current state of Clemson football, absolutely. Not the players. If a Clemson football player, one Clemson football player sees this, I'm not talking about you. Well, man, we're a team, and we're all a team. I understand that, son. I appreciate it. I'm 40 years old. I've worked for different companies, and I can tell you, I've went in and did my part, busted my part, tried to speak up, tried to do things the right way, and the company be run into the ground by people who were over me. And yeah, we were all a team, but they were the ones who ran it into the ground. I'm sorry, that's reality. I'm a team player, but I'm not going to take the responsibility of someone who ran it into the ground and had to go out of their way to run it into the ground when I was the one who worked overtime to make sure they didn't run it into the ground as much as they did. You get a little older, and I know you hate to hear stuff like that. You get a little older, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. Go play for a coach who has their mind on winning and realizes that's the reason why they're still doing what they're doing. You'll find out what I'm saying is correct. So if one Clemson football player heard anything I said tonight, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the decision makers and the guys who are preparing you, who's paid a ton of money to prepare you, and they're not doing it. Who's paid a ton of money to make the right hires, and they're not doing it. And if you get mad at me, that's totally fine with me. I'm pulling for you. I'm just telling you, I'm a strategy guy. I have to my every day. I have to live, eat, sleep, breathe strategy. Strategy matters. Eisenhower, it's one of my favorite quotes. Eisenhower said, "Plans are nothing, planning is everything." What does that mean? I can make plans. I can make plans. And so, well, I made my plans and we're going to stick by them. Well, what happened if my plans are terrible? Planning is an activity. It's actively going back, going, "Hey, is it working? Oh, is it not working? Does that mean we scrap the whole thing? No, but does it mean we tweak something? Yeah. Does it maybe we go back a couple of stages in the process and have to refine a lot of things? Yeah, maybe so. It's actively working towards excellence. It's not going, "Here's a plan. This is what we're doing. We're just going to follow through even if it fails." That's not leadership, folks. That's arrogance. And you can take that to the bank. Tennessee, congratulations to you. Had a banner season. With your schedule, with the craziness over the past few years, what you did this year is just unseen. Just unseen. Unheard of. Amazing. 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 My only critique for you, and I've said it a couple of times here, Josh Heupel, you need to hire an elite defensive coordinator and defensive positions coaches who are really going to develop those players. So even if you ended up with a bunch of three-star defensive players, they're going to come out and play lights out. You'll win a national championship in the next 4 years if you do that. Now, if you stay offensive heavy and the majority of your front seven, I tell you, man, they came and they played. But Clemson was dumb because we didn't go after your secondary. Every time we went after your secondary, it was either completed or pass interference. What did we do? We started running the ball. So no, Lord help me. But Tennessee, congratulations. Congratulations on a successful season. You just had a number 11 top 10 recruiting season. I mean, wow. Congratulations to you. Very, very, very good job, and I see bright things in your future. Clemson fans, I just hope Swinney comes back. I hope the Dabo Swinney that won the 2 national championships, that mentality that mentality that got him there, that's what we need back, because the current mentality is the mentality of someone who has won and now they're daring anybody to question why they're losing now. It's just truth. It's just the truth. I'm sorry. It's just the truth. I wish him the very best, and I want the old Dabo Swinney back, because if we get the old Dabo Swinney back, we'll win a national championship in the next few years. If we don't, you're going to continue to see players transfer out, the development go down. You'll see less and less players sign with us that are worth a crap. And if they do, they'll transfer out. And you'll just see us just kind of slowly. It might take 5 to 7 years, maybe even 10. You see us slowly go down to about 8 wins per season. And then everybody's going to go, "What happened?" Exactly what I told you would happen. Once again, thank you so much for hitting the subscribe button, get me over 1,000 subscribers. It really does mean a lot to somebody like myself who just has a little old channel like this and come on here and I do this for fun. I also have the airing of the grievances. Some of you know exactly what I'm talking about there. Appreciate all the comments, even if you hate my guts. I hope everyone has a good evening. Hope everyone takes care of yourself. And I hope you really think about what I'm talking about. I hope everyone steps back and thinks about what I'm saying. I hope everyone really considers what I'm saying. Big Vol Daddy's in here. Can't believe that. Yeah, there's a lot of people in here. All right, I'm going to shut up now. Look, even with a loss, it's always good. It's always good to be a Tiger. I know this is hard to not say, but yeah, y'all take care of yourself. It's good to be a Tiger, and I'm going to try not to think about this evening. Take care of yourself. Good night.